Welcome to the show. My name is Jeremy Poole, and I'm the host of The Moment on Real Estate Social, where we explore and celebrate the necessary transformational process you must go through to achieve a high level of success in the real estate industry. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great guest. I'm so happy that you're here. Jennifer Johnsen Cameron from Sotheby's International. She's the Vice President of Branding and Business Development. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as you know, the show's called The Moment. What would you consider as being your moment, a defining moment in your life that really defined who you are and who you've become in the space of real estate?
You know, I think that life is a series of moments. And for me, probably one of the most defining was shortly after the market had crashed and we kind of started to come out of that period of time, which went on far too long, much longer than we ever expected.
Rough time for everyone.
I have a daughter who has autism, and I had an opportunity to move to New York City. This was in 2010, and at this point, I'd only been to New York one day, just passing through.
Wow.
So I really didn't have any idea what I was doing.
Big change.
Yeah, it was a big change, but we were struggling and challenged. Jordan wasn't doing very well at all, and there weren't really resources here in Seattle. So when I had the opportunity to consider going, in the back of my head, I had remembered that shortly when she was diagnosed, probably 10 years prior to this, I'd been traveling in Switzerland, and I'd read in a magazine about a school in New York for autism. And I couldn't remember the name, but I went online and Googled, and I remembered it was a girl's name, so I Googled a girl's name, you know, school, autism, New York, and up popped the Rebecca School. And so I reached out and called them and spoke with them and found out about applying in tuition and thought, geez, how am I going to do this? But I kind of went for it. I thought, you know, maybe this is where we're supposed to go. So I took a leap of faith and we went. And at this point, she hadn't really gotten into the school, but it was just kind of one of those moments you knew that you were propelled to go for it. So we ended up in New York City, and a month after we got there, Jordan got into the Rebecca School. And that changed her life and ours. It was kind of the Rolls Royce of schools for autism. But through that, I had always been a selling real estate broker for the majority of my career. But moving to New York, I decided, gosh, you know, I'm going to need a job, a paying job. I don't know anybody in the city. And so I applied for different jobs, and I went into management. And I was a part of launching a company called Town, later recruited by the Corcoran Group. And what was unique about that experience, as you can imagine, you know, coming from a small town to the big city, being a part of launching a brand new brand, there's just so much excitement to that. Knowing that you're in this big city and you're going for it. There's sort of like the dream, and then there's the reality of New York City. And it's a tough, tough place. It's beautiful. It's the land of opportunity, and it's ruthless. And so there's all these, you know, lessons to learn in that.
It's like you're scared but excited.
All of it, right? And I think you're more scared when you get there and you find out
just how big it is.
How vast, But at that time, what was really interesting is you met people that were from everywhere. They'd gone through the, you know, market crash, you know, having to downsize, start, rebuild themselves. So people from all over the country were moving there, looking for opportunity. I was a part of that. But having been selling in real estate for so many years and going into management, launching a company where it's all hands on deck, and you know, you kind of give a piece of yourself to everything. Opening offices, building the brand,
wearing
the
so many
setup, everything, right? You just dig in where you're needed. I just kind of found my thing, and my thing is in that building phase. And I've learned to love and grow that. And I had the opportunity for the next two companies that I worked for to rebrand both those companies.
Phenomenal.
But, you know, fast forward 4 years into it, it was just time to come home. We knew it. Jordan had gotten great care. She was doing exceptionally well.
I'm glad to hear that.
So we came back.
Nice. Well, phenomenal. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And now we're going to take a brief moment to hear from our sponsor. Hey, Hey friends, it's Jeremy Poole here, CEO of Real Estate Social and the host of The Moment. I'm here in Arizona with the #1 real estate agent, Jason Mitchell of the Jason Mitchell Group, who's also the founder of the fastest growing CRM business management tool, Shebang. Jason, tell them all about it.
Thanks, Jeremy. You know, we're really excited where we are right now, but we're even more proud to see the success that our agents have had with our system. And the question always is, well, why? What's different about Shebang? Well, Shebang is the complete system. It's all been done for you. And we touch on all three key areas throughout the real estate transaction, which is prospecting, transactional, and post-transactional, and we've done all the work for you. So to us, we want to be able to provide simplicity and to be able to give our agents a system that takes all the time off the busy work and so they can actually focus on selling.
Jason, thank you so much. That's fantastic. Shebang is literally changing the way that real estate agents create and execute and grow their businesses in a way I've never seen before. If you're interested in learning more, go to www.shebangcrm.com/themoment and you'll be happy you did.
Hey guys, this is Jeff Van Nostrand. Have you ever been talking to a client that came to the conclusion that they were just going to wait to purchase a home? Wait for what? The forecast is that interest rates are going up. The forecast is also that housing prices are going up. So what exactly are we waiting for? The client says, well, I'd really like to save a bit more money for my down payment. Or, I don't want to pay $2,000 to break my lease 6 months before it expires. Okay, so the alternative is you wait 6 months and the price tag of that same home is $20,000 or more higher. Did it make more sense to break the lease for $2,000, or do you want to pay that higher price tag? Furthermore, if interest rates go up, the cost of borrowing money is more expensive. So I really think those clients need to think long and hard about making some sacrifices to make home ownership happen sooner rather than later. I'm Jeff Van Nostrand. I'll see you next time.
So again, thank you so much for that fantastic story. I love New York. I visited for the first time and got to spend 5 days there doing an interview. So New York is a big, beautiful city, but I'm not sure I'm ready to move there quite yet. It's a pretty daunting place. But I'm glad to see that things worked out for you. So you're in branding. Talk to us a little bit about what branding means to you and what are the building blocks of building a high quality brand, especially in the highly competitive market of real estate.
So authenticity, consistency,
okay,
making sure that you understand, what are your core set of values?
Right.
That everybody who's a part of your team, your leadership, your staff, your
right.
brokers, that everybody that's on your team buys into those set of values.
All singing the same song.
All singing the same song. If your messaging is inconsistent, then you don't really stand for anything.
Sure.
And one of the things that I see happening in our industry right now is brand confusion.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody does something like this and then somebody thinks they have to mimic or copy that.
Yeah.
First of all, define who you are and stay the course.
Sure.
And don't be reactive. Make sure that as you're building your brand, that you have strategies to achieve that and that you stay the course and the consistency. But more importantly is that your brand is authentic.
Right. I love that. We're in the Seattle market, and I have to say Realogics Sotheby's definitely stands out as one of the premier luxury brands out there. Why do you think that is?
Well, quite frankly, we were built upon servicing the luxury client, born out of the need to service those clients from the Sotheby's auction house. But really, when you think about luxury, it's not about a price point. It's not about a property type. It's really about a level of service.
Right.
And having the highest level of customer experience that you can possibly provide. What we've done is we've grown and expanded is really take that experience for the consumer and trickle it down. We understand that, coming into this market, that for some consumers may not feel that Sotheby's is the right company to list their home, let's say, because it's not a luxury home, but it's actually the opposite. It's the idea that we provide one level of service.
That's great.
Why would we ever cheapen that for you? We
Sure.
wouldn't do that.
Right. I love it. Great answer. That's phenomenal. As Vice President of Brand Development for Realogics, Sotheby's, what were some of the biggest hurdles you had to overcome, and how did you handle that?
Do you mean early on? Do you mean today?
Yeah, I mean, let's say, from the time that you came on board to now, what were some of the hard parts or low parts that you had to identify an opportunity, go in, and flex your muscles, if you will?
Okay, so first of all, I'd say not flexing your muscles is key.
Okay.
Anytime that you're new to somebody else's company, especially when you come from a competitor of theirs, I will say Realogics, Sotheby's has always been a company that said, you know what, we're not going to do real estate in the same way as everybody else.
Okay.
We're just going to see how we can do it to the best of our ability, which meant that it was different.
Sure.
If you know our owners, Dean and Stacy, they think very differently about real estate.
Stacy and Dean, by the way, are amazing. I love them.
Thank you. I agree. But when I took that leap of faith to join the company, I knew that coming in, as a part of the team, you don't just walk into someone's living room, sit down, and criticize their curtains or their carpet, right?
That's a good point.
You want to lay low and give respect, whether or not
trust.
you
That's
think
a good
that
point.
things are
I
perfect.
didn't even think about that, because you're right. I mean, it's kind of analogous to being an interior designer. I might like the way my home is decorated, but somebody who's experienced in that area might say, well, I changed this, I changed that, and I can see how somebody would be on the defense, especially if that's their baby. So
exactly. I'm lucky because I have many years in the business, so I had a few friends when I came over. But still, I was coming from a competitor, and it doesn't matter what your title is or your level of position. When you go in, first, you have to get to know people, you have to get to know the company, you have to see how they do things, and then earn a little bit of faith, and then a little bit of trust, so that as you need to make change or influence something in a direction that you're giving respect, and at the same time that you've got support of your peers. So that was one thing that was different. I'd been with another company for the majority of my career, but second to that really was just helping the consumers to understand that we do service every property, price point, and type, that while we are the leaders in luxury and global, that we're also local. Our brokers give back to the community.
Great point.
And dropping that veil. And we've just started a new campaign right now that's called RSIR Inspire. And it's really designed to show the heart and soul of our brokers, and for people to see how much they care about their communities.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. We've talked a little bit about branding from the corporate level, but talk to me a little bit about how important is it for each individual broker to develop a brand, especially on social media and perhaps using video?
You have a different way of going about it. So you could, let's say, come into the real estate business and spend all your time creating videos on social media and have no business.
Right.
Is that really the right way to go about it?
No, absolutely not.
Or you can come in and network and build your sphere and build a brand by doing good business and servicing clients and building a reputation with your peers, because you tour and you're out there and you're learning and you show respect to your craft. And that builds a brand, right?
I agree completely.
Then we have creating a marketing campaign. Do you know who you want to be? What is your messaging? Who are you marketing to? Okay, how are you spending your money in that? Are you getting a return for it? And so I think I see a lot of brokers come in thinking, oh, I'll go build a brand and I'll become the video expert or whatever, but they don't have any business.
No business, no background. 100%, I agree. I think it's really important to identify who you are right now, who you've been, but then more importantly, who you're trying to become. And there needs to be some continuity there.
Sometimes marketing yourself isn't about the business that you have. It's about the business opportunities that you're missing, because nobody can be all things to all people. Nobody can be in 10 places at 10 times. And by having a stellar marketing campaign, you kind of widen your net. So it's sort of, which way do you want to go about it? I have my feeling that I think, first of all, getting out there and really working to build your business is critical, and then getting your marketing campaign going.
That's fantastic. What I'm really excited about learning is what does Realogics Sotheby's have coming down the pipeline, especially in the space of new construction in Seattle?
World domination.
World domination.
No, I think it's pretty well known that we were kind of the go-to resource back in the day, again, before the market crashed, as building a reputation for the marketing and sale of new development.
Absolutely.
Of course, then there wasn't a lot of opportunity for a while, and now that it's come back, we've had tremendous success with new development, and I give Dean Jones total respect and credit for that. This weekend we launched a new project called Coda, and we had it 95% reserved in one weekend.
Wow.
You know, the project before that was Nexus. We had, you know, lines 3 blocks long, deep, people sleeping, you know, overnight outside of our office. So
sleeping overnight like it's Star Wars or something.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I actually heard this weekend that brokers were paying people to sleep in line overnight and then coming the next day.
To reserve their... That's incredible.
To get in line.
This is true. It's not even a joke. I was actually driving through downtown Seattle on First Avenue, going to a restaurant, and I saw the lineup.
Did you?
I saw it, and then I went on Facebook and realized what was going on. So is this the last one, or are there more projects coming down the pipeline?
No, we have several projects coming down, and we look forward to it. I think we've all struggled with low inventory for several years now, and new development gives us a great opportunity. So, especially for people that want to downsize, that haven't had anywhere to go, people that are moving here that want to work in the downtown core specifically, but we've got projects on Bainbridge Island, we've got projects north, south. So you'll see a lot of new things coming on the market.
Love it. My next question is one of the top topics for the entire industry, which I'm sure you know so well. There's a lot of buzz around the thought process and the potential of reducing the real estate agent's commission. Do you think that technology will ever replace the real estate agent?
Jeez, that is a big question. I think I'm asked that several times a week by my brokers. You know, how do you feel about this, Jen? Because it is the topic of our industry right now, and you know, I have heard a lot of companies come out recently in real estate and say, we're not a real estate brokerage, we're a tech company. Last time I checked, I don't recall anyone ever coming to me saying that a seller had called them and said, hey, I'd like to hire a tech company to sell my house and you know, get me the most money. So the answer to that question, the short answer is absolutely not. We, as far as I know, for any market, for many years have been in a service industry. And so, you know, I might backtrack a little on that and say, you know, gosh, will anybody ever be out of business because, you know, of tech, this and that? I think in general, there's some people that should be out of the business. You know, this is where it comes to kind of the rubber meeting the road. You know, how committed are you to the service industry or not? Tech is great. I love that I can store things in the cloud. I love I can search for properties and share information with clients and have great databases and all these things. But here's what tech can't do. It can't smell a house. It can't tell if the neighbors are hoarders. You know, it can't tell you if there's other reasons someone's selling in a neighborhood. It can't go in and listen to an elderly couple that has to downsize, tell you years of stories, and you know, sit there and understand that this is going to be a process of letting go for these people, or help a couple divorcing minimize those stresses on their family, things like that. Tech does not negotiate, and that is what we are paid to do. All of those things. So no, tech is here. It's great, and it's going to evolve. So you know, get friendly with it. I think it enhances our business, but absolutely not. So as long as you stay high level and high customer service, of course, you're still going to be in the business long term.
So for all of you agents out there that are offering and providing excellent service, don't worry, you'll still have your jobs. Well, last question. Real estate is such a relationship-centric business. As somebody that I would consider as like an expert in networking, how important is it to have the ability to build new relationships with people you want to partner with? And talking to somebody who's relatively new to the space of real estate, what advice would you give them around networking?
Relationships are key. It doesn't matter what brand somebody is with. I've really throughout my career tried to be brand friendly, understanding that, you know, today somebody may not be the right fit for Realogics, Sotheby's International Realty. In the same way, we might not be the right fit for them today.
Sure.
That could change down the road. What's important is that you celebrate the success of anybody that elevates our industry. I am a big supporter of women in general, in my role in leadership, but also, you know, I've grown up in real estate with so many people, and I watch them move, and it's really up to the individual to decide where the right fit for them is at the right time. Just be a good supporter of people.
Right, that's huge. I love it. Well, thank you so much again for coming and being on the show, and thank you for watching. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll see you again.